Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And this time, my subscribers did not make me aware of this. I was actually watching like a barbell logic video or something, and I saw a Kinobody video come into my feed on the side for suggested videos of the worst mistakes guys can make in their 20s. So I actually watched it while I was doing my cardio. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Yeah, guys, that's the thing. I was hoping when I watched this video that Kinobody would be like, yeah, guys, the biggest mistake you can make in your 20s is to not squat and deadlift. You need to get those things real strong, build a base on the basic exercises. You know, because I can appreciate the fact that he tells guys to do the standing press and weighted chin-ups. Those are, I consider to be pretty much essential exercises too. But he specifically tells guys in a $50 book, which is a part of how he made his own money and his own six-figure income, selling a book telling guys not to squat and deadlift. Now he's been training 10 years. I was hoping he would say in the video, guys, I made a big mistake. Now I'm trying to squat and deadlift, and after 10 years of training, I can barely deadlift 400 pounds, and I go to other people's channels who rep out 500 pounds plus all day long, telling them I'm stronger than them, and then I pull 400 and I'm really embarrassed. And I can bench as much as I squat. You know, that's kind of embarrassing. That's kind of embarrassing for someone who considers himself a serious lifter, even more so who considers himself to be an athlete. I need to make a t-shirt that says athlete. I need to make that. That's what I need to make. That's what I need to make. Anybody steals it, makes their own shirt with it, I'm going to have to pop a cap in that ass. Stealing my idea. I'm just kidding, guys. I wouldn't actually do that. It was a joke. Those was jokes, guys. You guys take stuff way, way too seriously. Way too seriously. I did have a laugh with a police officer about that the other day, though, people calling and reporting stuff I say in videos. But we got a good laugh. But I was hoping that's what he would do. Instead, he breaks down a video, and I'm not saying he's wrong. What I'm saying is it shows how spoiled he is and how out of touch he is with reality for the vast majority of his viewers. Greg, his real name actually isn't Greg, by the way. That's the funny part. Do you guys know that that's not even his real name? His name's not even Greg. I found that amusing. He doesn't even use his real name. So he's got a pseudonym as Kinobody, and then the name he claims to go by, Greg, isn't his real first name either. Now that's clever. I mean, Alan, listen, bro. You're out of touch with reality, and here's why. You did a breakdown of telling people to be frugal with their money. Now, I understand that you came from money. I came from money, too. I didn't inherit anything. All right, I didn't inherit much. But I came from money also. But, you know, my family's still alive and everything, and they don't give me money. And that's okay. That's fine. So I understand these things, too. I have plenty of self-made millionaires in my family from both sides. I was taught some of these same life lessons. Be frugal with your money. Live within your means. That's a reason I live as frugally as I do. I know how to live within my means. And so anytime I have problems, anything financial comes up or whatever, I'm usually okay also. I have a little bit of fallback. So we have always done things. So I get that. I understand that. Most people don't. They do live paycheck to paycheck. And he breaks down, he doesn't understand how people can live paycheck to paycheck. He just doesn't get it. But, you know, here's the problem. He's like, he pursued his dreams. And he's talking about my first year, you know, when I started Kinobody, I only was making $10,000 a year. And I managed to live on that. And you're talking about other people living paycheck to paycheck. And he breaks down, but you know, I got to live in my family house. His mom owns a mansion. He lived in a mansion rent-free, right? Lived in a mansion rent-free. Had a pretty nice life. Do you understand already everyone else has to pay rent? Even if people are living in a little tiny apartment, that their whole apartment is the size of the little room that I film in? right? With my green screen and my computer desk and my bike. You guys have seen the room, right? My little filming office. Some people have to rent a place that small. They couldn't afford to live there if they only made 10 grand a year. All right. So unless people are living for free, they can't start a business and only make $10,000 a year. They would starve to death. They would be out on the street. You had a free place to live. Then he was talking about, yeah, he had chefs who cooked for him. See, yeah, Greg, everyone else, they have to buy their own groceries. You have any idea what it takes for someone who lifts to buy their own groceries? You know what their grocery bill looks like? I can tell you right now, I spend $100 a week on food, and that's not going out to eat. That's going to Costco. I buy wholesale bulk. I spend $100 a week at Costco. All right? Perspective. That's $5,000 a year. That's $5,200 a year on food. You're making $10,000 a year. That's what an athlete spends. I'm a strength athlete. That's my food bill, bro. Then he was talking about, yeah, like when I would go out with friends, I would only spend a little bit on drinks. So I got to see my friends, buy 2 drinks, and then drive home. Well, that's real good, man. You promoting drinking and driving. Real good role model there, bro. But he's like, but he says later, I didn't buy my first car till I was making X amount of money. I didn't buy a car. You pointed out that you had access to your family vehicles. So, again, do you know how out of touch you are with everyone else out here? You do know most people don't have the option to live with their mom while they start a business, rent-free. Most people don't have free food and chefs who cook for them while they start their own business and live on pennies. Most people don't have cars provided to them for free, so that when they go out, it's only $20 for whatever they spend, and then they go home, they don't have to buy an Uber or a taxi. Other people have to buy the car. Even if they get a hold of a used car, they have to pay car insurance. They have to pay the gas to drive and go out. And the one piece of good advice he gave there, and I mean, all that's true, if you can do all that stuff for free and you've been handed an easy life like that, yeah, it's a lot easier to start a business. If you're surrounded by self-made wealthy people because of your family circles and you have connections, yes, when you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to pay a car note, you don't have to buy your own groceries, and you have connections, yeah, you start in a much easier position. So when you say you don't see how people are out there, how they put themselves in a position to live paycheck to paycheck, it's because you're a spoiled brat. You literally have never had to go out and do this stuff on your own and build a business on your own while working a full-time job because you have to pay rent. Maybe you're sharing a tiny little apartment with someone else. You're splitting the rent. You're only paying $500 a month rent. Right? Most people can't live on a $10,000 a year company. They can't. They'd be out on the street. You can't do that. You had connections. You had resources already. That's why you can't understand how people are in this life situation. The other 97% of the population isn't in that situation. Now, the one thing he said that did make sense, I agree with, the overwhelming majority of wealthy, successful people I've met do not have a degree. And the vast majority that do not have a liberal arts degree. A liberal arts degree is nothing more than a piece of paper that puts you in $100,000 in debt. It is. It's nothing but debt. You will never make enough money off of it to pay that debt off in a reasonable time period. You're going to pay interest on it. And it's just going to teach you to be a worthless piece of crap social justice warrior that no one really wants to hire or employ. And he's right. People in business, they don't want social justice warriors. You're not going to get a good job because of your political views. And yeah, getting a liberal arts degree is going to push you in that direction, and it's going to make you a useless drudge in society. I agree with him there. We actually agree on some conservative politics. I'm glad to see that. But that aside, the The funniest piece of advice that he gave is one that I tell people all the time, and that's the most interesting thing. Don't spend your money on useless things. How about supplements? See, that's the thing, Greg. You have made your business and built your empire off selling products that people don't really need or benefit from. No one has to buy your books, and your books aren't that good. I know, because someone wanted me to look. That's why I ragged on your superhero physique book or whatever it was called, because it's out there free. Someone sent me a free link for me to scan over and glance through, because free links are out there. So in other words, if they don't need to spend money on things they don't need, that would include just pirating your books, because they're not worth $50. They're not worth $50, at least from what I've seen. In fact, you wrote a book and made your original money selling a book that tells people not to squat or deadlift, specifically to avoid the barbell squat and the barbell deadlift. Now you're weak and you don't have a strong lower body, strong core, strong legs, nothing. You're weak. You can't lift anything on these basic lifts. You have noob level numbers. Now you're trying to do these lifts. Do you still stand by the advice that you sold for $50 an ebook at a time to build your empire on? Do you still stand by that advice? Or did you sell garbage information to make your money? So you're telling people to not spend their money on things they don't need, to be frugal with their money. That would mean not buying any of your products, because your products aren't worth anything. That's not taking your advice. They shouldn't buy your stuff. Now you're selling supplements. Supplements are worthless in general. Anyone who's being frugal with their money doesn't buy supplements. You see the problem here, Alan? I'm going to call him Greg. Call you Alan. Or do we call him? Call him Bruce? You know, because again, my Bane voice. Bruce. Now that I've learned the truth, that your real name is Alan. But that's the thing, Alan. You are like Bruce Wayne. You grew up with a life of privilege and opportunities that other people don't have. You built your empire selling people stuff that they don't need, and then you berate people and say you don't see why people throw their money away on things that they don't need, why they squander their money on worthless things just to show off or for a social status that they can't really afford. But you made your living off of that. And you also got a step up in life that all these people who you were mocking and you don't understand don't have. They don't have. The majority of people can't live with their mom while they start their own business. The majority of people don't have the contacts and connections and the business sense. They didn't grow up around money. That's what you don't seem to grasp. And it's ironic that you don't grasp it, because everyone else I know who grew up with money understands that people who make money understand opportunity cost, because you're taught that growing up. But yeah, it isn't about how hard you work. It's about seeing opportunities and knowing how to take them and having good risk analysis when you make those business opportunities and ventures. That is the key to wealth. That's the biggest key right there. It actually isn't the harder you work, the more money you make. It's about how smart you apply the work that you do. All right, seizing the correct opportunities, having an eye for a good opportunity when you see it, and knowing a bad investment when you see one, whether it's an investment of your time, your energy, your work. Because you taught that growing up. You came from money. You understand that. Because that is the difference between the upper class and everyone else. That's the biggest difference. That, and of course, in connections you have. But that's the thing. You're mocking people for not having this knowledge, while at the same time you made all of your money off the fact that all of your customers are ignorant and they don't understand how to use their money frugally. Or you wouldn't have been able to sell a single product. You're totally detached from your audience. Completely. Completely detached from your audience. And you really, really, really need to get your squat and deadlift up. I really wish you would have made that video. Been like, hey guys, biggest mistake I made, not lifting heavy on my lower body lifts and back exercises. Don't be like me. If I could go back and change anything, I'd change that. Even though you're doing them now and trying to get stronger at them, talking about getting to a 500 deadlift, right? That's cute. That's cute. That's a warm-up. But getting to a 500 deadlift while you made hundreds of thousands of dollars by telling people not to do the deadlift and sold them that information. Now that's funny. That's some hardcore snake oil salesmanship right there. I got to take my hat off to you. That is knowing how to seize an opportunity. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.